beautiful tracks. Really neat to see, especially, and this was so great because we haven't had much bird tracks, and then we come down here and we've got all this different stuff going on. So a few things to look at in here. So are these super asymmetrical tracks, or are they pretty symmetrical, meaning the negative space is similar on this side than it is on this side? Pretty similar, right? Are we seeing a nice dot of a metatarsal? Mm-hmm. Yep, great. Are we seeing any real clear toe one, meaning the little thumb that comes off? Or are these not really? And then what's cool, yeah, some maybes in here sometimes. But what's neat is even in the soft stuff, you can see in here and you're like, oh, there is just nothing happening. And then if you look around, like we even marked some of these out, you can see some really nice ones where it's set in all the way and you're just getting nothing here showing up. And are those, we don't need to work through all of these details, but
splay, I think,
yep, they're really widely splayed. It's almost as if, well, these toes are straight as opposed to curved forward as well. What did you all say for this? Crane. These are sandhill cranes.
So I said turkey because I thought there was a hallux right there.
Cool. So
even
what I will say for is these guys can be mistaken for each other.
Turkey and cranes.
Turkey and cranes, but just some things to think about is in this drawing, for whatever reason, there is a hallux showing up. They rarely show up in cranes. But some of the other things that I like to look for is the cranes tend to have these straighter toes as to more bulbous, and granted this substrate wasn't all that great, but we're just getting these kind of nice slim toes and the distinct lack of that really strong game bird hallux that turkeys have a lot also is separating this. We could look here, let's see what turkeys we got. I don't know if there's a whole lot that we can tell apart. Some of the things that, I don't know that this is all that useful to talk about. Sometimes it looks like the cranes connect farther back to the metatarsal than turkeys can. See that connection point, but then again, that all changes depending on the substrate too. Turkeys can be a little bit more forward facing, these side toes, as opposed to straighter out in your cranes. See that splay out to the sides. But in here, the other thing too to think about, and this can get, there's overlap here, and I actually just wish we had a turkey trail to compare with, but just the really straight nature of all these tracks and the space between them. A lot of times turkeys are a little bit more turned in. We've got these long-legged cranes really gracefully cruising through.
Nick, you said crane?
Yeah.
What cued you into it not being turkey?
Well, I was a little puzzled. I thought I was seeing a hallux, but it's like in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't think that's a hallux.
That's like a toe or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there was none in the other tracks, like you pointed out.
Yep.
A little more widely splayed. And this one, it's almost wider than long.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Couldn't see webbing really. There's a little right there, maybe. That's just a stick. But,
Right.
What else? That's about it, I guess.
Between the
Lack of
tracks, maybe.
segmentation. Distance
Yeah,
between the
so
tracks.
Oh yeah, no
That's what
loading.
Yep, no
Mhm.
lobing.
Kind of cued me.
Yeah, and again, we just liked including these tracks here where there's this definitive back end to the track as opposed to turkeys, which sort of have, how would you,
Well, the toes of turkeys are more like quail toes, right? And like they have like segmenting kind
segmented,
of. Yeah.
yep, and
Knobs,
then
yeah.
connecting back to that
Yeah.
nice thumb.
Let's sneak in a picture.